Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into how to transform our most difficult conversations. And the secret isn't about changing what you say, but about changing how you approach them entirely. Kind of like an artist learning the right way to hold a pencil.
So, let's kick things off with a big question. What if the key to better conversations has nothing to do with finding the perfect words, but everything to do with how you hold the conversation itself? You see, just like an artist holding a pencil, your grip can change absolutely everything.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to figure out why most of us are holding the pencil wrong in the first place. Then, we'll learn the artist's grip. After that, we'll practice some basic strokes in our communication line zoo, apply them to real life, and finally, talk about getting the courage to just make that first sketch. Sound good? Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with the real problem here. Most of us, and I mean pretty much all of us, were never actually taught how to hold a conversation correctly. So we just fall back on our default grip, and it's the wrong one.
We default to what you might call the writing grip. You know the one I'm talking about? It's super tight, it's all about control, and it's completely focused on forcing one single perfect outcome. It's like you're trying to press perfect letters onto a page. It's rigid, and there's just no flow.
And in a conversation, that grip is a disaster. It makes you defensive, it leaves you feeling totally drained, and it leads to constant misunderstandings. It's exactly why we end up fighting about how something was said instead of what was actually meant.
So if that's the wrong way, what's the alternative? Well, let's flip the script and check out the artist's grip. This is how we can build a totally new foundation for real connection. Now, just look at this. It's a completely different vibe, right? The artist's grip is way looser, it's more confident, it uses the whole arm, which is a perfect metaphor, because masterful communication requires us to bring our whole, authentic selves to the table, not just a list of talking points.
And this right here, this is the fundamental shift. Communication expert Jefferson Fischer teaches that arguments are not something you win, they're knots that you need to unravel together. It's all about changing your goal from I need to be right to I need to understand.
And that brings us to this really powerful idea. Think about this for a second. The person you're arguing with, they aren't actually fighting you. They are fighting to feel heard, to feel seen, to feel understood by you. That's the hidden need.
Okay, so we've got the right grip, the right mindset. Now what? Well, just like any artist, we have to practice the basic strokes. This is where we start building the actual skills.
And that's where this idea of a line zoo comes in. Just picture it, a whole collection of fundamental communication tools that you can practice over and over again. This is how you build versatility and that muscle memory you need for when things get heated. Fisher boils it down to 3 incredibly simple but powerful lines to practice. First, the breath, using a pause to create space. Second, asking, "What did you hear?" It's a simple question to make sure you're on the same page. And third, validation, acknowledging their feeling to show you're actually listening. These 3 things can change everything.
So let's break that first one down. You feel that flash of anger, right? That urge to snap back? Stop. Let your breath be your first word. In that 5 to 7 seconds of silence, hurtful words just fall to the ground. It gives you control, and it calms everyone's nervous system down.
Next up, you know that classic argument, "That's not what I meant." Well, here's how you stop it in its tracks. Instead of getting defensive, you just calmly ask, "What did you hear we say?" It's an instant reset. It clarifies everything right there on the spot.
So, we've got our new grip and we've practiced our lines. Now it's time to start actually drawing on the real canvases of our lives. You know, with family, at work, all of it.
So let's get super practical. Dealing with parents, and it feels like judgment, your tool is to respond to the value underneath it all, their care for you. At work, somebody keeps interrupting, your tool is to state your boundary, calmly. And for setting boundaries in general, the tool is to lead with no and frame it as a promise you're keeping to yourself. And this is such a crucial reframe, especially with family, that thing that feels like sharp judgment. So often it's just love and care in a really clumsy package. Seeing it that way can change the whole dynamic.
I love this next one. It's a fantastic tip for work. Are you a waterfall or a well? A waterfall just gushes information, over-explaining everything, which can come across as a lack of confidence. A well, on the other hand, holds its knowledge, and people can draw from it when they're ready. Be the well.
And that brings us to our last and, honestly, maybe the most important part of this whole thing. It's about having the courage to just begin.
to make that first mark on the page.
You know, relationships don't usually blow up in one big dramatic fight. It's not like in the movies. They slowly erode from the 100 tiny little moments where a repair could have happened, but didn't. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts.
And that's why this idea is so important. A healthy relationship isn't one with zero conflict. I mean, that's a total fantasy. A truly healthy connection is defined by how fast you can repair things after they break. It's all about the speed of repair.
Listen, your first few tries with this new artist's grip, they're going to feel awkward. They'll probably be messy, just like an artist's first sketch. But that's not the point. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is just getting your hand moving. It's the practice itself that matters. So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. What's the first line you need to draw? Think about one conversation, maybe one you've been avoiding, where you can just try out your new artist's grip and begin the real work of connection.